6. Oh, yeah. Hello, and we're live. I'm infamous for hitting the live button.
So
Um,
excited.
welcome to another As We Do Live, ThatKimberly. And this is where we talk about being an unprepared and unpaid caregiver. And that is a bad, bad thing. Do as we do. We believe that starting the conversation early is the best thing. And we are on a mission to break that chain of unprepared caregiver cycle
Yeah.
and remind you that it's not about if you die, but it's about if you live. Because then what do? Guess what? Your kids get to take care of you.
That's right.
Like my best friend and I. So today I'm here solo as a doer with my very special guest, my BFF from way back in the day, almost 30 years.
Let's not
We
age
won't.
ourselves. Let's
Yes,
not
let's
age
not age
ourselves.
ourselves. But before we jump into our conversations, want to give a big shout out to happy birthday, Mr. Deerstock. That's where Jeff Deerstock is tonight, and Brian Crawford is out as well, and a big shout out to them, Brian and Ashley, as well as Sam Gaines and Diana Benitez, and they're all doing what they do, and so I'm excited that we are still being able to be here. We're live on YouTube, live on my personal LinkedIn, live on Do As We Do's Facebook page, and also live on ThatKimberly Facebook and ThatKimberly YouTube. So if you have a question, you have a comment, please leave them and we will answer them as we go along. And I do have to thank every sponsor, but I'm going to do that at the end. And I'm going to throw up some of our sponsors, banners, and all that great stuff like Spherix and Approved Shield, which our application is live. And we'll go a little bit into that, but go to DoAsWeDo.org so you can apply for the assistance for the fund that we are raising money for. We'll go into a little bit more, but I do want to jump in for time's sake because I know we're behind. And I appreciate you, Rita, for working with me and our little bit of our technology issues. And I'm, as well as my location issues. Well, I don't have location issues, but I might have some internet issues, depending. I don't know if it's strong enough here, but we'll see.
We're gonna find out. Yeah,
I know, right?
we're gonna know.
So we are going to jump into our topic, and it's about my best friend and I having a conversation about how caregiving can kill the caregiver. She's going to give a little perspective, as well as some of her insight into what's like becoming a part-time caregiver. So before any more further ado, I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I'll start asking away.
Oh, very excited. Okay, well, primero vez, feliz cumpleaños a su amigo. Happy birthday to your friend.
Thank you very much. I knew what that meant.
I mean, you know us, right? We celebrate birthdays, not birthday, but per month. So
Yes, absolutely.
happy birthday. I'll make
Yes.
sure to have a nice big glass of wine in
Yeah. Oh,
honor of his birthday.
cheers. Cheers, Mr. Durstock.
Salud, Mr. Deerstock. So, anyways,
Yes.
um, how do I know you? Well,
Yes,
way
yes.
back, I met this young, super excited, super sweet, young teenage girl on the brink of that teenage freedom, and I fell in love with her. So
Aw.
did my family. She wouldn't go away. She hung on tight to us, so we decided to keep her. Yeah.
Yes, you did. You took me under your all's wing.
But yes, yeah,
Yes.
that's how I know you.
Yes. Go way back. So from born and raised in El Paso, Texas.
Absolutely.
Yes, with two beautiful children. Shout outs to
Dacia and
and
Tatiana.
Tatiana. I was
Yeah,
gonna go by the nickname, so it's better that you give their full names out there. So,
yeah.
so tell us a little bit about. Let's start off with. Let's go into how, what's going on with you in your world as far as becoming a part-time caregiver.
Oh, yeah. So it has recently happened. I could see it coming down the chute. About maybe 6 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
my mom, who is 81,
Mm-hmm.
recently got sick, and we had to admit her into the hospital. And of course, we were all very afraid because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But, she went in, and we had a very good hospital, thank goodness, with an excellent surgeon, and who ended up telling us that she needed a pacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so since that time, she actually, I think, is afraid. And so now she doesn't want to be by herself at all. I think she's afraid she's going to get sick again or faint, or
Mm-hmm.
she's not strong enough to walk on her own, but she is. But she's at that age now where she really does need the assistance. Yeah, she needs us.
So who's been like before then though? You're before 6 weeks ago, before she got sick, she was
Yes,
still, she was not as mobile as she used to be,
correct.
and not, because
Yes,
she Mama
absolutely.
Rosas, yeah, she definitely
Yeah,
moved, yeah. So
yeah.
who was taking care of her prior to this?
So she's lived with my older sister, Roxanne,
Okay.
gosh, for maybe since 1997,
Wow.
around there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She moved in with my sister. And
Okay.
so she's been my sister's roommate since about that time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she's been very healthy, thank God, all these
Uh-huh.
years. And, my mom, very active,
Yeah.
cooks all the time, makes sure she has her clean house. And that's how she plans her day. She knows her
Yeah.
routine, what time she's going to wake up. She's going to do her morning prayers,
Mm-hmm.
and then she has her to-do list.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for many, many years.
So how are you guys dividing up the time now in the last 6 weeks? Like what's that? What is that? Who else is helping, and what does it look like?
So I was very fortunate, or we were very fortunate, that one of our nieces was able to leave Nevada, where she was living at the time, and come and stay with Roxy and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been Roxy and my mom and my niece at the house. And my niece and Roxy have taken turns, hanging out with her, taking care of her.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest sister had also been dropping in to, check on them and give them a break.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's unfortunate because where I work, I was still exposed to possible danger of COVID exposure.
Yeah.
And so my sisters lovingly and kindly said, maybe you
Don't.
shouldn't come see mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We got this.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I was the big germ in the family. So they said, yeah, we love you,
Yeah.
but we'll love you from afar.
Yeah. But what made it, like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back to make you decide, I'm gonna, no, I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. No.
that.
So what happened was, because of my mom's new fear
Uh-huh.
since the surgery,
Mhm.
it has really worn on my sister Roxy.
Mhm.
And so my oldest sister has tried to alleviate that by starting to go spend the night, and there were certain care instructions from the operation about making sure the wound didn't get wet, and that she didn't fall down, and
Yeah. Because everybody works full-time jobs, right? Everybody's
right,
they're right, fully
yes,
employed. It's not
yes,
like this is a leisure thing, right?
right. Nobody is an at home,
Yeah.
mom. No one is a kept woman. So
Stop
yeah,
that.
we all we all have to work hard for our money.
Yeah.
And so luckily though, because of COVID, my sister Roxy and my niece Brianna
Mhm.
were able to work from home. And so they were able to give that time and attention to my mom that she needed.
Mhm.
But now that everything's beginning to open up, my sister is going to be having to go back to work physically to
Mhm.
the building. My niece landed a job out of town, and so she moved, and she just
Mm.
recently left.
Mhm.
And so my oldest sister was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job so that I can go and be with mom during the
Wow.
day. Yeah, yeah. So she's given her notice, and my sister Roxanne is getting ready to go back to physically being in the building.
Mhm.
And so my oldest sister, Nora, will be there 5 days a week, 8 to 5, with mom.
Mm.
And then from there, they have now brought me into the fold and have said, okay, we're willing to take your risk of COVID because it has been very hard on
On them, yeah.
sisters. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so they're ready to take me on.
Yeah. Well, something struck me, to because you were kind of our fill-in for tonight, which I know you have no problem ever, like, but you were like, sure. But I immediately thought of you because of what you told me about
Oh,
that you said about caregiving can kill, that you looked at when you
yeah.
compared or you said something to me about you talking to, I don't remember who it was, whether your sister or your mom, but or your sisters, because you have
Mhm.
multiple sisters. Rita is blessed to have me plus 5 other real birth sisters.
Yeah.
So, or I should say, Suki is.
Yeah.
But when you said that you told them, see, this is what Kimberly has been saying, right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what was like, oh my God, Rita needs to be like, if she can do it, then she needs to be on here and to talk about that. So tell just let's talk about a little bit about that.
well, so I noticed my sister Roxanne, who has been carrying the brunt in the past 6 weeks.
Hmm.
My sister Roxanne she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. And when
Yeah,
I saw
all
her
your
recently,
sisters are beautiful.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I can't argue that they are. I'm the ugly duckling of the family. We don't have to go there right now, but and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace.
Shut
But
up. Anyways, people don't
so
know that you're being freaking serious. So
I'm
stop it right
totally
now.
serious. Let's not get started. But with Roxy, when I saw her, it hurt my heart a little bit to
Yeah.
see she looked tired, she looked sad, and I don't know if it's fear of what's to come with my mom, or maybe she's really tired. She needs to be able to get away, and she
Hmm.
can't. She
Yeah.
can't. She can't leave town without a huge plan set in place.
Yeah.
And so the years that she's had my mom, because she has told us every now and then, not really complaining like in an ugly way, but
Yeah.
your mom, she says, your mother is difficult. Your mother, and she tells us everything that my mama does. And
Yeah.
we get to enjoy the laughter of it because she makes it funny, but it's
Yeah.
actually
It's not.
something that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's not
so,
funny at all.
yeah, since the surgery though, it has multiplied, 3 times.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
she's been carrying that. And so when I saw her, I thought it's starting to kill my sister. And
Yeah.
if it's not killing her physically, which to me, she looks tired and she needs a rest, it's killing her energy. And
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Definitely. Did but you and what did they say to you when you said that to them about
About it hurting them.
well, yeah, about you saying, hey, this is what this is like
Oh yeah.
what Kimberly's been screaming about. What did they say?
Yeah.
Did they say anything? Did they like just kind of like, oh, okay, shut
Well,
up,
yeah.
Rita, we know Kimberly's crazy, it's
No, no, no.
okay.
No, no, no. They totally agreed. They're like,
Yeah.
"You're right. Kim has been telling us." And we, I think, aren't totally unprepared
Hmm.
because we're now starting to take the action what we need to do. We are gonna try and get, assistance and hire somebody to come in and during the
Yeah.
nighttime.
Yeah.
And then, my sister Nora, this is the cross that she's chosen to place on herself.
Hmm.
But I mean, I have to tell you, if I too could afford to leave my job and spend my mother's last days with her,
Yeah.
I would absolutely do with it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think Kim, that kind of leads into what you say. I want to get that um, Latina or Latino Mexican tradition. You want to put that out there, and I don't know if it's actually race based, but
I think
part
it's
of
culturally. It's a generational sum
yeah.
and a cultural sum, right?
So okay, excellent. Yes, culturally speaking, we don't.
put our families. we don't prepare for that. Period.
Right. And okay, yeah, we don't. And why
we don't talk, and we don't talk about it.
And I have two stories.
Okay.
So culturally, we don't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, way back in the early 80s, my dad and his own mom, my grandma Julia,
Mm-hmm.
she got up there and she could not be by herself anymore. And mind you, this is like at the age of 92. Up until 92, she was
my grandmother's age, who's still alive.
Right? But at the age of 92, she lived by herself. She didn't need anybody to stay with her. She could take care of her bodily care and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of declined quickly. And so my own dad tried to maybe move her in with us, and that didn't happen. And then his siblings himself couldn't put her in their homes. And so his brothers and my dad had made the difficult decision to put her into her home.
Mm-hmm.
And she declined quickly, and we lost her.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has left an impression on my mind that that's not going to happen with my own mama.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
If I have to, and I think though that's what affects us. So it's like the caregiver gives the person who needs care, because that thought process, like, I'm putting her in my home, I will give up my own life to care for my parent, whether if it was my dad or my mom.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that thinks that. Culturally speaking, everybody does that.
Not everybody does it, unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever it is. Like, not everybody does it. I don't feel that, for me, I'm going to speak from my perspective. I don't feel that it should be left to, because it causes so much drama in the family dynamic when there are multiple siblings, and there's a strong family unit, not a big one, because yours is big and strong, mine's small and strong, right? That so the having like five sisters, well, you guys were six of my sisters, right? That that is something, that's a strong bond, that and Roxy took it first, and now you guys are. But when people don't have that, or it's an only child, or for me, like, I have no children, right? I don't feel that it should be left up to I'm not going to, even for my brother's sake, let it be left up to his children, right? And that's what it was coming down to when COVID hit for us. Because then my mom, with the isolation, and then she just happened to get a blood clot, right? Because she's no longer playing tennis. And so actively things happen, right? In your body when you're not moving around.
Right.
And that put me into that almost, caregiving can kill the caregiver, because I couldn't get here. And, for my niece and my nephew, they had to like fill in the gaps, and it's wrong. It's wrong, because they don't know what they're doing. Yes, could they do it? Absolutely. Should they do it? No, they shouldn't.
Right.
If they wanted to do it, that's great. If they don't, that's fine too. But it's wrong for us to expect it, and for us to not have had this conversation in advance with them, right? That is what gets me all in this hype of hey guys, stop talking about you got life insurance for when you die. I want us to talk about, what if you live and your last 2 years, are you going to expect your family to go bankrupt to care for you? Because that's what it does. It causes financial, like, poverty. Like, it's just an ongoing cycle if you don't prepare.
You're absolutely right. And it's starting to not affect me, but now it's really literally starting to put the physical, tangible thought in my head, like, what will happen to me as I age and I need care, because I don't expect my children to have to take care of me.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, you're one of your daughters has been the one chosen to put me out of my misery when I can't take care of myself anymore. I mean, because she's the only one that would be like, okay, I promise Auntie Kimberly, I got to do it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
be like,
not even
love you.
I love you. I mean, I'm going to get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to get it in writing when I can. But it is legitimately a real thing. I don't want to just like you, I would happily give my life for both my parents, right? They gave
Right.
me theirs.
Yes.
I felt very blessed and fortunate, right?
Right.
However, I don't feel like I need anybody else, whether it's my boyfriend, my husband, your children,
Yeah.
my niece, my nephews, I don't have any children, so I won't have any grandchildren. When I get children, if they have, I don't expect anybody, right? It's just
Right.
not fair. It's
Right.
not fair. And the fact that there are 43 million people doing this work, which you and your sisters are doing, what Roxy did every day, and
Yeah.
what Nora is doing, what
Yeah.
Nora used to be paid by a company to
Yes.
do,
Yes.
like, that's wrong,
Well,
you know?
yeah. And but I think I also want to kind of touch on the point that probably all the millions of people of us think that we're not going to hit an old age, or that when we do hit the old age, we're just going to go to sleep one night and not wake up,
No.
and we're not going to be a burden to our family,
We could only hope to be so
right?
lucky.
But really, that the reality is that we do end up waking up, and we do end up needing that assistance, and we haven't planned for it.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's the issue, is that now I'm realizing, my mama's not going to go to sleep one night
Mm-mm.
and die an old lady warm in her bed,
Yeah.
and drift off to heaven. No, it's going to be a slow decline.
Yeah. The Ways and Means Committee that I saw that got me hyped and sparked about this. There was a Dr. Joanne Lynn, and she gave a number, I can't remember, but she said every one of us, and she talked about everyone in that room, all those congressmen, everybody was sitting there getting interviewed on this committee, said we will all at least need a year or two of care at the ends of our lives, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now the boomers have boomed. Like, it is an overwhelming, like it is. People don't realize how bad it's
Yeah.
about to get.
Absolutely. Sorry that I'm moving around on your
No, it's okay.
camera. I'm
It's
grabbing an orange.
okay. Yes, we don't want you to go into diabetic shock. Please,
Yes,
please
please.
grab that orange.
So I'm going to be very rude and snack on a little orange while we're having
Hey, I
our
will drink some water.
okay.
So, what do you think? What was your first? What was your first experience with me that you or story that you felt that could be possible that I could be slowly
Declining.
yeah, or that there's that possible where you two were like caregiving can kill the way you looked
Yeah.
at Roxy, like,
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been doing this for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So when was that first point that you were like, I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
don't
it was.
know.
So if I do start crying, I'm sorry, but um, I've always known you to be a pillar and strength, and be able to tackle everything and anything and move on, conquer it.
Mm-hmm.
So this past June, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you had notified me, hey, I'm coming in. I'm going to be with my mom, and can you pick me up from the airport? And I was like, yeah, sure. And you were your normal hyper self, which I've known for many, many years, very excited and full of a lot of energy. And so I didn't really notice anything on the telephone speaking with you. You flew into town. I picked you up. Still, I didn't really see anything different.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was a Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the course of the weekend, I could notice a strange decline, and I wasn't really sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday morning, you called me frantically sobbing very early in the morning, and you said, you have to come over. You have to come over right now. So I said, okay. And so I dashed off to go see you and find out what's going on. And I'm not really sure, like, when I got there, exactly what you were doing. But as I got there and was there for a while, you were doing very odd things, and you were all over the place. And I could tell you hadn't showered. You seemed very nervous. You seemed afraid. You felt like there were people out to get you. You kept repeating certain things over and over.
Mm-hmm.
you kept saying we just,
PTSD,
yeah,
PTSD is a real thing.
yes, you
Yeah.
kept mentioning certain people
So
that you had
anybody that I talked to
conversations
in
with.
those 4 days in June, if I said
It
that
was,
to you,
yeah, there
now
was
you
a
know
lot
what
of
was going
people.
on. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
were a lot of people, and it was very scary. And it
Yeah.
was, that's what scared me.
Yeah. That 4 days of not, I mean, I'm only getting 3 hours of sleep because it was my first flight coming in after COVID hitting in March, and
Mhm.
coming. The thing I regret, one of the many things I regret was that when COVID hit, that I didn't just keep going. Like I didn't keep coming to El Paso, right? Like this was the one place I always consistently came every month, but I just for some reason, well, I know why. Well, another live, another day.
Yeah.
But I just stayed in put because I was supposed to. I wanted to do what was right. I wanted to do respectful for my mom, for Brandon, for everybody else around me. I watched way too much news. I watched way too much documentaries on Netflix. Jeffrey Epstein, FYI, people, but
Mhm.
like all of it was
Mhm.
too much, right? And then when I
Yeah.
got on that plane, I had so much anxiety because I was worried about what ifs, right? And a friend of mine gave me some really great advice before I got on there to even get me on that, like to even like book that flight. He's like, what happens if something happens to your mom and you don't see her and you're here? I said, oh my God, he's like, then get on the plane and go.
Mhm. Mhm.
And do all the necessary precautions. Wear your mask, wash your hands, wear gloves if you need to, wrap your body
Mhm.
in cellophane. He didn't say that. I was just thinking about that. Maybe you said that, but he's like, just go, right? And
Mhm.
so I did, and the more I thought about how I used to travel for almost 15 years on the dirt, and we went to Juarez, Mexico as teenagers,
Mhm.
starting at 15, and
We
never.
love us. Hey, we love us some Juarez, so be nice.
Grandpa in heaven and mom, if you ever see this, I have not been to Juarez since for about 20 something, since like my freshman or sophomore year of college. So,
Yeah, but
anyways,
it was
whole
good to us.
other. Yes, it was good to us. We were blessed. We were protected. God, the universe, everything
Mhm.
aligned where we could be there safely. But yeah, so I was definitely heightened. I, had a nervous breakdown, whatever you want to call it, and it was something that really put me into check. And I thought, oh my God, I can't imagine the number of people that this is happening to now during COVID. One, that was one of the first things. And then I thought, wow, I wonder if this is what my mom went through when she got her first divorce, right? With two kids, right? When being in the Latin community, you're not supposed to get a divorce. Or I'm
Right.
sorry, and Catholic, she was Catholic.
Yeah.
Um, and or my dad, because he no longer, he had to endure so much to even stay to see us, because my dad, I always tell people I don't have daddy issues because my dad's always been around,
Yeah.
like I love my father. He's one of my best friends, just like my mom. I
Yeah.
always say they didn't love each other, but they loved us. But like it was super overwhelming, right? And
I
then I have him too. Like I have
right.
my dad who chooses not to move, get out of place, like it's his choice. I even, I've been inviting him to come live with me for the past 10 years and he's told me no. So it's definitely something that when
Well,
people.
the one thing that I want to point out, Kimberly, is that there are some people though that give up so much to be a caregiver.
Yeah.
Like I think as a single parent though, and not knocking single parents because I was one for a
Yes, you
while.
were. Yeah.
You still kind of have that opportunity to go out and meet somebody or date if you want to.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of times, people who become caregivers give up a
Everything.
lot more. Yes, they
Yeah.
give up professional opportunities to
Oh
move
yeah.
away, or they give up
Mhm.
the opportunity of having their significant other move in with them,
Yeah.
or they give up being able to move out of town to go live with their own children or near their own children because they're now a new
Yeah.
grandparent.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
as a single parent, there's a lot of times that you don't because you're
Yeah.
still striving to provide a better life for your own children.
Mhm.
So,
That's very true.
you know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of a difference, I think. But I do agree with you. Like maybe this is what your mom did go through at the time, because there was a certain amount of things that I had to give up to as a single parent. So I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also, as a caregiver, there's a possibility that your health declines. Oh, hey mom, how are you doing? Shh, it's okay. I'll be right out there. You scared? Okay, I will. Okay. See? So, hi mom.
Hi, Mrs. Anderson.
Well,
I love that
that
woman. I love that woman. She is a second mom to me. So
yeah. Yes,
yeah,
she is.
yeah.
She is. That the picture that I put up of us, that I put on the little thumbnail for this live, is one from her birthday, when she was we were, it was me, you, and
Mm,
Do. We're sitting at the bar, and she was asking the bartender if they had Zima,
that was funny.
and the bartender looked at her like, huh? What is that Zima?
I'm sorry.
What?
I was born in 1999, or I was born in 2003. Can't help you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Like
gosh. It was
Zima,
so
Zima
funny.
came out in 1986.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, and things like that. Like, you can't, like, she was laying down, she got up, she heard me.
Mm-hmm.
She's very inquisitive, she's very active.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is something, just, even that night when you sat and had, came to meet us for drinks after her birthday. It was her birth. You
Yep.
came out and you're like, I just don't see it. And then as you sat there and you talked to her, then you noticed, because we were there for 2 hours or so, then
Mm-hmm.
you could notice and understand the things that, unless you're there all the time, or even if you're there for a day, or even you're longer than an hour, short-term memory, that means they're going to ask the same questions. And and
Yeah. And
you know
I had to coach the girls like, hey, Kim's mom, she's going through this now. So, and you know how the girls are.
yeah.
Okay, so I had to coach them and be like, you're going to be nice and understanding. And I was grateful for them to be a lot more understanding than I thought they were going to be.
Hmm.
Because, your mom did start asking questions, several times.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you know what I did notice, Kimberly, though, is that for a long, long time, she remembered that I was married.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
doesn't remember that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's when it occurs, and then when, like, and this is just with her, like, for her, and her only, like, I understood the things that made her, the things that she focused on, if in the positives, she had those a lot longer. But and because I feel my mom is such a naturally happy person,
Mm-hmm.
and a naturally forget, like, she's given a lot, like she's forgiven and moved on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That she released that, and that energy to God, to prayer, whatever it is. She did that, and therefore she holds no grudges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you make her mad, or you hurt my brother, or me,
Yeah.
you're going down.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, or like, for, you lived with my mom for 2 years when I
Mm-hmm.
was away at college, right? Like, so it's just, she has her, it's her unconditional love for her family. Once you're in that family zone, she would
Mm-hmm.
do anything for you, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where have no problem in giving up my life to do this for her, but it has to be on my terms, right? For
Exactly. And
me,
that's,
this is just for me. Like, because
well,
I've
no,
had
that's
so
what
many people.
so many children feel like that. Like my sisters,
Well, they
you know,
don't, like, no, I'm not saying you're like, and when I told people that what I was gonna do with my plan for my mom, they're like, "Oh, don't do that." And I told my dad, okay, when I said, "Dad, they've been divorced for,
mm-hmm.
I'm 47. They've been divorced for 40, uh, since I was 2 years old, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what's that?
Mm-hmm.
45 years.
45, yes.
45 years. And I said,
Yeah.
I go, "Dad, I'm going to move her in with me." And he goes, "Well, don't do that." I said, "Well, then are you going to move down to El Paso and take care of her?" He goes, "Well, no, I divorced her 45 years ago for a reason." I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm like. That's why the caregiver, shout out to Roxy, Big Love, Nora, Roxy, all, Brianna, all you guys,
Yeah.
that you can do no right. Like, caregivers are, there's, like, I had this conversation with a friend of mine today that everybody always has an opinion about how you're doing it. If they don't know you, they're gonna judge you. It just, unfortunately, that's just the time that we're in. And it's been like that, not just right now. It's always been like that when it comes to elderly, when it comes to parents and things of that sort. But I had to tell my dad, especially during COVID, I was like, well, then what do you want me to do, Dad? This is like, I finally found somebody that I want to pursue, further, in a relationship with. And there's no way I can keep coming back and forth financially or even mentally. I can't keep doing it mentally, like in my heart and in my head. And my brother has my grandmother, Jean and Michelle. Shout out to Michelle and Jean.
Absolutely.
But like, it's not fair. It's not fair for them to take both of them. And they don't want to go. I don't want to put them into a home. One day they are going to need assistance, but it's like, right now she's active. We keep her happy and positive. She's going to be great. Right.
And she's healthy. Your mama is healthy.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, she definitely is. It's this time and this lesson that I've learned during COVID, or this year. I can't believe it's September already. I felt like it was the summer, right?
I'm totally waiting for this year to be over. I feel like as soon as midnight hits, like everything's gonna poof, go away, and we're gonna be back to our world that we love so much. Right? Yeah.
We could only hope and pray that this will occur in that manner, because it is definitely something that I feel during this time a lot more. This happened for a reason. I had been saying I'm not going to do a nonprofit. I got all the paperwork February something, and then we launched March for whatever it was, and then COVID or like it was within the week, right? And it's just like, me, like I'm like, when I set my mind to it and it's in my heart and it's in my head, I know God's leading me down the right path. The universe has come together. The stars have aligned with all the people that have stepped up to help, and the many more that will be coming to help. And I know that sharing, in more detail, which I will eventually go into, but we're not going to do that tonight, but just into that time in June, because people need to understand that's a real thing. And it not only can kill you, like dead, but it could also financially kill you, So it is.
Well, and you know what? That's good that you bring that up, is that financially, my sisters and I are like, okay, how are we going to afford this? Because eventually we're going to have to bring once my mom gets used to somebody, we're going to have to bring somebody in, because staying up during the nights with her is hard if we have to be up in the morning. And, she's set in her ways, she's set in her routine. And, there's part of me that's like, Mama, I can't do that for you right now. I got to get ready for work. And, before Nora comes in to take over, or Roxy is here to finish taking over. So eventually we're going to need someone to come in to be with her in the nighttime to help her, get to the restroom and stuff. And that's on our minds too. How are we going to pay for that? Because we're not financially independent people. And
it will come together. It will come together. I know that there will, especially with the experience, your sister coming from the like you said, the healthcare industry, being a caregiver for a corporate company. I feel, and I know, and your wisdom, your smarts, Roxy's, that you guys will fit. That's all going to happen. Maybe if I hit the lottery, she's golden. Okay.
Well, I feel the same way. Yeah. As soon as we hit the lottery, then everybody in my world is taking care of it until.
Yes. So I know. Are you? Oh, she
in this kind of situation.
Come back now. Say it again.
Am I I said back in the day, in this kind of situation, the family would have just hired a señora, from Mexico, who would be able to come in, and we would be able to provide them with a decent pay that is worth their time, that we can afford, and they would be able to just travel back and forth with the work permit and stuff. But now that's not happening. And so, I think we're lucky to be in the location that we're at, that should that opportunity come again, because there are a lot of people who have those work permits that can come in and day out and
Yeah.
take care of,
Yeah, absolutely.
the people. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we are. Well, I do appreciate you jumping on here with me. I do want you to answer one last question before my mom has done
Okay.
something that I
All right.
should not. What what advice would you give to like what advice would you give to new caregivers, and then what advice are you gonna give to your children?
So I think caregivers that give care for their family members, especially the parent, is that strong pillar that you have known all your life really does need help.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
And to be patient
Mm-hmm.
and to love them,
Mm-hmm.
because, my recent experience with my mom, I feel like now I'm becoming the parent and she's the
Mm-hmm.
child.
Yeah.
And to reflect on that before your parent gets on your nerves because they dirty themselves, or they need help with the bath, or they need you to make their tea or their lunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did that
For you.
multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's time to pay that back to them. They've earned it. They've loved
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And remember
And
that before
and if
getting tired.
and it and if they didn't, then you better have some money to put them somewhere. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah,
Like I'm just gonna throw those 2 cents out
yeah,
there
yeah.
because or forgive, let go, and be a bigger person, right? Forgive, let
But
go, and be a bigger person.
yeah. And
So
what's also too, I want people to know is like, don't let go of yourselves, because that's not what your
yeah,
parent wants.
yeah,
They need
yeah,
your help, but they want you to continue to grow and to love yourself.
yeah,
And if
for
you do
sure.
that, if you're only allowed like 10 minutes a day, or,
Yeah,
more than that, then it's
yeah,
okay to
take it.
take care of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
what about the advice to your daughters?
The advice to my daughters would be, you're not going to be able to handle your mama. I already know the woman that I am. So we need to plan.
Oh,
Yeah, because I want you girls to still love me.
yeah, yeah.
But, when I'm in my coffin, and
Yeah. Well, it
yeah,
strains a relationship towards the end,
it
especially if you're
absolutely does.
close. It
Yeah.
does, for
Yeah.
sure. I saw that. I saw that with my mom and my grandfather and my dad and his mom. I saw that. So
Yeah.
it definitely is something. So I do thank you so much for being on here. Tell
Thanks
folks
for
how they
having me
can,
on.
yeah, tell them how they can connect with you, if they want to if they have questions or they want to reach out.
Yeah, sure. So I have my own YouTube channel,
Uh-huh.
the Daily Diabetic Diva.
And I'll put the links in the
Okay, yeah,
below.
sure. Sure. And of course, that channel is about type 1 diabetics.
Okay.
What I need to do to survive on a daily basis. But it doesn't have to be about that. If you have a question about caregiving, I would be more than happy to give my own layperson, humble insight. So yeah,
On all of that. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. For sure.
But that's where they can find me.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and I do have to say, everyone, that we are here for a reason. The foundation is going to be here after COVID. We're not going away. We didn't just start because of COVID. We do have the Caregiver Relief Fund that you can go to DoAsWeDo.org to donate. It is still going on. Even if it doesn't matter how small the donation is, we'll take it. If you want to volunteer, we'll take it. And if you know someone who needs assistance, because just if it's $200 for medication, whatever it is, we want to provide that assistance to those caregivers that are already, like Rita and her sisters, working full-time jobs and trying to figure out how to care for their loved one, right? So go to doaswedo.org. You can do all those things there. Follow us everywhere you see us, or hit the like, subscribe button. And big shout outs. I have to do this little sponsor. Hold on. I usually have a back, we have a back producer behind the scenes, but today, where is my sponsor ad thing? Where are you? Oh, there we are. I have to have a big shout out to SphereX, Approved Shield website, and the application, Salon D, I'm a Soap Addict, Hustle Aesthetics, Short Productions, Rich B, Blue Jay Nutra, and AK Realty. They are been amazing. They stepped up. They continue to step up. We appreciate them more than we could thank them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And make sure you all will be back next Thursday. It'll actually be Sam and a friend of his. So keep a lookout for that. This gentleman is a caregiver to a person who has Lewy bodies dementia.
Wow.
And that will be an interesting story to hear about. So the team will probably be upset because I didn't follow all the script, but we got to just roll with it because sometimes.
All right, when you get two best friends talking, sometimes we get stuck. Just
yeah, we're gonna continue offline, on Zoom or WhatsApp, so we can drink virtually with each other.
All right, I like that idea.
Even though we're in the same city right now.
Hey, social distancing. Wear your mask.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye. Do as we do. And remember, sharing is caring because it does take a village, folks. Bye.